Ambassador James Chen stood in the center of the Galactic Council chamber. Around him, representatives from 40 different alien species sat in their elevated seats. They looked down at him with expressions ranging from boredom to barely hidden contempt. Chen had been Earth's ambassador for 12 years. In that time, he had watched humanity get pushed around, cheated, and ignored. Today that would end. Honored council members, Chen began, his voice steady. I come before you one final time to address the systematic violations of our treaties. A few alien representatives laughed. Chen ignored them and continued. In the past decade, human colonies have been raided 17 times. Our merchant ships have been seized without cause. Our technology has been stolen and reproduced without credit or compensation. We have brought these violations to this council 47 times. 47 times, we have been ignored. Council leader Vexter, a towering reptilian creature with purple scales, leaned forward. His mouth split into what might have been a smile, showing rows of sharp teeth. Ambassador Chen Vexter said with mock politeness, Your species has been part of this council for barely 50 years. You are children playing at galactic politics. Perhaps if Earth contributed something of actual value, your complaints would receive more attention. More laughter echoed through the chamber. Chen felt his jaw tighten, but he kept his composure. We have contributed, Chen said quietly. Our medical advances alone have saved millions of lives across a dozen species. Our agricultural techniques have ended famines on 6 worlds. Yes, Vexter interrupted, waving a clawed hand dismissively. You are useful servants, good workers. But you lack the strength to demand respect. The galaxy operates on power, Ambassador. Something your soft species will never understand. Chen reached into his jacket and pulled out a data tablet. He held it up for the council to see. This tablet contains evidence of every treaty violation committed against humanity. Every theft. Every attack. Every injustice. Paused, making eye contact with as many council members as he could. It also contains humanity's formal warning. A warning? Vexer laughed, a harsh barking sound. And what will you do, Ambassador? Write a strongly worded letter? We are warning you, Chen said, his voice growing harder, that humanity has been restraining itself. For 50 years, we have chosen diplomacy over conflict. We have chosen patience over retaliation. We have absorbed your insults, your thefts, your attacks, because we believed in the possibility of peace. He took a step forward. Our patience has limits. We have given you every chance to treat us fairly. We have followed every rule, honored every agreement, even when you did not. We have been the better partner in this relationship. Chen's eyes locked onto Vexter S. No, and you have mistaken our restraint for weakness. The chamber had grown quiet. Some of the alien representatives shifted uncomfortably in their seats. So here's our warning. Council leader Vexter, and to all of you who have voted to ignore our grievances, Earth is done being patient. We are done being exploited. We are done being treated as lesser members of this council. Chen placed the tablet on the chamber floor. You have 30 days to address these violations. 30 days to show humanity the respect we have earned. 30 days to prove that this council believes in justice. And if we refuse? Vexter asked, his tone mocking, but with a slight edge now. Chen looked around the chamber one last time. He thought about the admirals waiting back on Earth. He thought about the fleet that had been building in secret for decades. He thought about all the weapons humanity had developed, but never deployed, hoping they would never be needed. Then you will discover what humanity looks like when we stop holding back, Chen said quietly. And I promise you, Council Leader, you will wish you had listened. Vexter burst into laughter again, and this time many council members joined him. Threats from a toothless species, Vexter declared. This council does not negotiate with those who have no power to enforce their demands. Your warning is rejected, Ambassador Chen. Earth will accept its place in the galactic order, or Earth will be taught its place. Chen nodded slowly, as if this was exactly the answer he expected. And we have nothing more to discuss, he said. He turned and walked toward the chamber exit. As he reached the door, he looked back over his shoulder. "You were warned," Chen said. "Remember that in the days to come, whatever happens next, remember that we gave you every chance to choose peace." The door sealed behind him with a soft hiss. Chen walked through the long corridors of the council station, his footsteps echoing. Other diplomats and officials gave him strange looks as he passed. Some had heard rumors of what happened in the chamber. Others simply sensed that something had changed. When Chen reached his private quarters, he activated his secure communication link. The face of Admiral Catherine Rodriguez appeared on the screen. "Admiral," Chen said, "diplomacy has failed." Rodriguez nodded grimly. "We expected as much. The Council rejected our warning. Threatened to teach us our place?" Chen allowed himself a small, cold smile. "Vexther believes we're weak, and it's time to show him otherwise," Rodriguez said. "I'll begin Operation Reckoning immediately." "Godspeed, Admiral," Chen said. "Let's hope they realize their mistake before it's too late." After 50 years of their arrogance, Rodriguez shook her head. "I wouldn't count on it. But either way, the galaxy is about to learn what humanity is truly capable of." The transmission ended. Chen looked out the window at the stars beyond. Somewhere out there, Earth's true fleet was already moving into position. Humanity had spent 5 decades appearing harmless, building weapons in secret, preparing for the day when patience ran out. That day had arrived. The reckoning had begun. Earth warned the galaxy we were holding back. Diplomacy failed. Now comes the reckoning. Part 2. The galaxy underestimated Earth Council leader Vexther sat in his private chamber, reviewing reports. 3 days had passed since Ambassador Chen's dramatic exit. The human's warning still irritated him like a small stone in his boot. "Pathetic creatures," Vexther muttered, thinking they can threaten the Council. His assistant entered, bowing low. "Council leader, the Kryn Empire has requested permission to discipline the humans. They wish to make an example of Earth's colonies." Vexther's eyes gleamed. "Perfect. Approved. Let the Kryn teach these upstarts their place." Within hours, a Kryn armada assembled. 500 warships, their hulls black as space itself, gathered at the edge of Kryn territory. Admiral Kethzar commanded the fleet from his flagship, the Dark Talon. "The humans have 6 colonies in the outer systems," Kethzar announced to his officers. "We will strike Titan Station first. It is their primary mining facility. We destroy it, and we destroy their economy." His officers cheered. The Kryn were known as the Council's enforcers. They had never lost a battle. The armada entered faster than light travel, heading toward human space. On Titan Station, alarms began to sound. Station Commander Maria Santos rushed to the command center. She ordered, 500 ships just dropped out of FTL, her sensor officer said, his voice shaking. "Kryn signatures. They're forming attack formations." Santos felt her heart race, but she had been trained for this moment. "Activate Protocol Omega. Send the signal to all vessels in the area." "All vessels, Commander." The officer looked confused. "We only have 12 cargo freighters here." Santos smiled grimly. "Just send the signal." In orbit around Titan, 12 large cargo ships floated peacefully. They looked old and slow. Just like every human merchant vessel the galaxy had seen for 50 years, the Kryn fleet moved closer, weapons charging. "This will be easy," Kethzer said. "The humans do not even have military ships here. Only cargo vessels." That's when everything changed. The 12 cargo ships suddenly transformed. Panels along their hulls slid open, revealing rows of advanced weapons. Their engines flared with power far beyond what any freighter should possess. In seconds, the slow, harmless-looking ships became sleek warships. "What is this?" Kethzer shouted. "Those are military vessels." "No, sir," his sensor officer said, his voice full of fear. "According to their signatures, they're still registered as cargo ships, but they're armed like dreadnoughts." The human ships moved with shocking speed. They spread out in a formation that the Kryn had never seen before, each vessel supporting the others perfectly. Commander Santos opened a channel to the Kryn fleet. "This is Commander Santos of Titan Station," she said calmly. You came here expecting to find helpless merchants. Instead, you found humanity's first lesson. We have been preparing for this day for a very long time, Kethzer snarled. You have 12 ships. We have 500. Surrender now, or be destroyed. 12 ships, Santos agreed. But we don't need more. You see, Admiral, while you've been building bigger and bigger warships, we've been building smarter ones. Let me show you. The 12 human vessels opened fire. What happened next shocked every military analyst who would later review the battle footage. The human weapons were unlike anything the galaxy had seen. Energy beams that split into dozens of smaller beams, each tracking a different target. Missiles that dodged countermeasures with impossible precision. And most terrifying of all, defensive shields that seemed to absorb energy and fire it back at attackers. In the first minute, 50 Kryn ships were destroyed. Possible, Kethzer screamed. All ships concentrate fire on the lead human vessel. 200 Kryn warships fired at once, their combined firepower enough to destroy a moon. The human ship's shields absorbed every shot, glowing brighter and brighter. Then the ship released all that stored energy in a single, massive pulse. 100 Kryn ships vanished in the blast. The battle lasted 20 minutes. When it ended, 300 Kryn vessels were destroyed or disabled. The surviving 200 fled in panic. Many damaged and barely functional. Not a single human ship had been lost. Commander Santos sent a message, not just to the fleeing Kryn, but broadcast across the entire galaxy. People of the Galactic Council hear this message. For 50 years you have seen humanity as weak. You have stolen from us, attacked us, and laughed at us. You believed our merchant ships were harmless? You believed our colonies were defenseless. You believed we had no teeth. She paused, looking at the wreckage floating outside Titan Station.
You were wrong.
Every human vessel, from the smallest cargo ship to our largest transports, was built with hidden military capabilities. Every colony has defensive systems you never detected. Every structure we built had a dual purpose. We have been preparing for war while pretending to be peaceful. Santos leaned toward the camera, her expression hard. This was just one small station with 12 ships. We have hundreds of colonies, thousands of vessels, and all of them are ready for battle. She took a breath. Earth warned you. Ambassador Chen warned you. You laughed. Now you know the truth. Humanity was holding back. We're not holding back anymore. The transmission ended. Across the galaxy, the message played on every screen and communication device. In the Galactic Council chamber, Vexter watched in stunned silence as the battle footage showed his mighty Kryn allies being destroyed by a handful of human cargo ships. Intelligence Officer Talrish, an insect-like species known for their analytical minds, studied the data carefully. She had always suspected there was more to humanity than met the eye. Now she had proof. Council Leader, Talrish said quietly, I have been reviewing human ship movements for the past 5 years. Every merchant vessel they sent through our space had unusual energy signatures. We dismissed them as inefficient human engineering, and Vexter asked, his voice dangerous. They were not inefficient. They were concealed weapon systems. Every single ship. Talrish pulled up a star chart. Council Leader, if every human vessel is actually a warship, then humanity has the largest fleet in the galaxy. We have been letting an entire armada move freely through our territory for decades. Vexther's claws dug into his chair. This is impossible. They're a young species. They should not have this technology, Les Talrish said carefully. They have been developing it in secret since they first joined the Council, unless their entire peaceful merchant species persona was a disguise from the beginning. Before Vexter could respond, alarms blared throughout the Council station. An emergency session was called. Representatives rushed to the chamber in various states of panic. When Vexter reached the chamber, chaos greeted him. Multiple species were shouting, demanding answers. Some calling for immediate military action against Earth, others suggesting negotiation. Then a new message arrived from Earth. This time, It was from Admiral Catherine Rodriguez, standing on the bridge of a ship that made even the largest council vessels look small. "Members of the Galactic Council," Rodriguez said, "what you witnessed at Titan Station was just the beginning. This is your second warning. Stand down. Cease all hostile actions against human interests. Or discover what humanity truly looks like when we stop playing defense and go on the attack." She gestured behind her, and the camera pulled back to show hundreds of massive warships, all bearing Earth's insignia. "We've been holding back for 50 years, Rodriguez continued. "Every day you insulted us, we built another ship. Every time you stole from us, we developed better weapons. Every instance you attacked our people, we became more determined to be ready for this moment." Her eyes were cold as ice. "You had your chance for peace. Now we'll discuss terms. But understand this, the terms will be ours, not yours. The age of humanity accepting scraps is over. The reckoning has begun." Transmission ended, leaving the council chamber in terrified silence. Earth warned the galaxy we were holding back. Diplomacy failed, now comes the reckoning. Part 3. Humanity's Hidden Arsenal. The Galactic Council chamber buzzed with angry voices. Representatives from the Zephyrini, Torgoth, and Valkyrie Alliance stood together, their species united by pride and fury. "We cannot let this insult stand," roared General Torvin of the Torgoth. His species were warriors, massive and strong. "One battle means nothing. We have thousands of ships across 3 empires." Council leader Vexther nodded, trying to regain control after the shock of Titan Station. "The human fleet is larger than we thought. Yes, but numbers alone do not win wars. We have experience. We have proven weapons. We have fought and won battles for thousands of years." Ambassador Liorana of the Velkari stood slowly. She was a graceful being with silver skin and wise eyes. "Perhaps we should reconsider. The humans gave us warnings. They tried diplomacy for 50 years. Maybe nothing." Vexther interrupted. "They embarrassed the Kryn. They threatened this council. We respond with overwhelming force, or we look weak to every species in the galaxy." The vote was quick. 3 major empires would combine their fleets and crush Earth once and for all. Within 2 days, over 2,000 warships assembled at various staging points. On Earth, in a command center buried deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Admiral Rodriguez watched the alien fleet movements on a massive display screen. "They're taking the bait," said General Marcus Webb, standing beside her. "Mobilizing everything they have?" Rodriguez nodded. "Good. For 50 years, we've let them think we're just clever with modifications to civilian ships. Time to show them what we built when nobody was watching." She pressed a button on her console. "Activate Luna Base. Release the fleet." On the far side of Earth's moon, something extraordinary happened. The lunar surface itself began to move. Massive doors, each 5 miles wide, opened across the dark side of the moon. They had been there for 40 years, perfectly camouflaged, invisible to every scan the Council had ever performed. From these hidden bays emerged humanity's true military fleet. These were not converted cargo ships. These were vessels built from the start for war. Sleek, black, and deadly, they dwarfed anything humanity had shown the galaxy before. Dreadnoughts, half a mile long, carriers that launched swarms of fighter craft, cruisers equipped with weapons that had never been tested in actual combat because they were too powerful. 500 warships emerged from Luna Base. Behind them, more bases activated on Mars, Europa, and a dozen hidden asteroid facilities. In total, humanity revealed 800 pure military vessels, with another 2,000 civilian. Ships ready to transform and join the fight, the Torgoth fleet arrived first at the Sirius Corridor, a strategic jump point leading toward Earth's outer territories. General Torvin commanded from his flagship, confident and eager. "The humans will try to defend this passage," Torvin said. "We will crush them and continue to Earth itself." His fleet of 700 ships moved forward in traditional battle formation, A massive wall of firepower. That's when they detected the human fleet waiting for them. 200 ships, impossibly outnumbered. Torvin laughed. They're fools. Do they think so few ships can stop us? General, his sensor officer said nervously, those ship designs. We have no data on them. They're not the cargo vessels from Titan Station. Does it matter? All ships die the same way. Attack. The Torgath fleet surged forward, weapons charging. The human fleet did not retreat. Instead, they did something unexpected. Each human ship released hundreds of small objects. Mines? Torvin guessed. Easily avoided. But they were not mines. They were drones. Thousands upon thousands of AI-guided combat drones. Each one smart enough to choose its own targets, coordinate with other drones, and adapt to enemy tactics in real time. The drones swarmed the Torgoth fleet like insects. But these insects carried weapons that could punch through military-grade armor. They moved in patterns no living pilot could match, reacting faster than any organic brain could process. In minutes, the Torgoth lost 50 ships. Focus fire on the drones? Torvin ordered. His ships tried. For every 10 drones destroyed, they missed 90. And while the Torgoth focused on the swarm, the human warships opened fire with their main weapons. Energy beams of a color the Torgoth had never seen cut through shields, as if they were not there. Missiles that phased through solid matter exploded inside enemy ships. Railguns that fired projectiles at a fraction of light speed turned heavy cruisers into debris. The battle lasted 2 hours. When it ended, the Torgoth fleet was destroyed. General Torvin's flagship, heavily damaged, managed to retreat. But that was just one battle. At the Zephrani border, another human fleet engaged their forces. The Zephrani were known for their advanced shields and defensive positions. They had fortified their territory with space stations and minefields. The humans sent in their wraith ships. These vessels used technology the galaxy had never encountered. They could bend light around themselves, becoming effectively invisible. More than that, they could teleport short distances, peering inside enemy formations without warning. Zephrani commanders watched in horror as their impenetrable defensive line collapsed. Wraith ships appeared inside their shield perimeters, destroyed key targets, and vanished before counterattacks could reach them. The Velkari Alliance tried a different approach. They were scientific beings, rational and intelligent. They analyzed human tactics and created counter-dash strategies. It did not help. The problem was simple. Humanity had been preparing for this war longer than the Council realized. Every Council species had public military data. Humans had studied it all. They knew Torgoth's aggression patterns, Zephrani, defensive doctrines, Velkari strategic thinking. The Council knew almost nothing true about human military capabilities. Admiral Rodriguez watched the battles unfold from Earth. Begin Phase 2, she ordered. Psychological warfare. Human ships began broadcasting captured communications from defeated Council forces. The galaxy heard Kryn admirals screaming in terror, Torgoth generals begging for mercy, Zephrani station commanders crying as their defenses failed. The message was clear. The mighty Council fleets were being defeated, easily more than that. Humanity began showing what they could do, but chose not to. In one demonstration, a human vessel appeared above an uninhabited moon in Council space. It fired a single weapon. The moon cracked in half. This is Admiral Rodriguez. Her message played across all Council channels. We have weapons that can destroy moons. We have weapons that can ignite atmospheres. We have weapons that should never be used against living beings. And we have had these weapons for 30 years. She paused, letting that sink in. We never used them because we believed in peace. We still believe in peace, but we will use them if forced. Think carefully about your next move. In the Council chamber, panic set in. Species that had been eager to fight now reconsidered. The Council had started a war they were clearly losing. Ambassador, Lorana watched her fellow Council members with sad eyes. She had tried to warn them. Now she had to act. Using secret channels, she sent a message to Earth, requesting private negotiations. Admiral Rodriguez received the message within hours. She smiled slightly. Finally, someone with sense. She recorded her reply. Ambassador Liorana, your request is noted. But understand this. You had your chance for negotiation. Ambassador Chen offered you peace. You chose war. Now, if you want to talk, it will be on our terms. Humanity is done being the junior partner, done being the one who compromises. If you want peace, you will accept our conditions, not the other way around. She sent the message and turned back to her displays. Where council fleets continued to fall? How many more battles until they truly understand? General Webb asked. As many as it takes, Rodriguez replied. We warned them. We gave them every chance. Now, they learn what happens when you push humanity too far. Across the galaxy, the war continued. And with each battle, it became more clear. Humanity was not just winning. They were dominating. The species that had been dismissed as weak, merchants and soft diplomats, was systematically dismantling. The most powerful military alliance in galactic history. The Council had made a terrible mistake, and the reckoning was far from over, Earth warned. The galaxy we were holding back, diplomacy failed. Now comes the reckoning. Part 4. The Tide Turns Council leader Vexther stared at the casualty reports, his claws trembling with rage. In just 2 weeks, the Council had lost over half their combined military forces. Species that had fought together for centuries were now questioning their alliance. This cannot continue, Vexther growled. We need a decisive victory. We need to show the humans they cannot win. His military advisor, a cautious being named Ralsith, spoke carefully. Council leader, perhaps we should consider Ambassador Lorana's suggestion. Open negotiations with Earth, accept their no. Vexter slammed his fist on the table. I will not bow to a species that joined the Council only 50 years ago. We have one option left. He pulled up a classified file. The Nexus Gate. We assemble every remaining ship there. Over 3,000 vessels. We hit Earth directly. Their homeworld. If we destroy Earth, the humans lose their will to fight. Ralsith's eyes widened. Council leader, attacking a homeworld directly violates the most sacred law of the Council. We have never the humans started this war, Vexer interrupted. We will finish it, and we will use any means necessary. Within 3 days, the largest armada in galactic history assembled at the Nexus Gate. 3,200 warships from a dozen different species. The combined firepower could destroy entire star systems. Leading them was Vexther himself, aboard his personal dreadnought. The final justice. Today, Vexther broadcast to his fleet, we end this humiliation. We show these upstart humans their place. We destroy their homeworld and break their spirit. For the Council, the fleet entered faster than light travel, heading directly for Earth. On Earth, alarms sounded across every military installation. Admiral Rodriguez stood in the command center, surprisingly calm. They're coming, General Webb said. 3,000 ships. They'll be here in 4 hours. Rodriguez nodded. Good. Everything is ready? The quantum disruption network is charged and standing by, Webb confirmed. All fleet elements are in position. Titan Array is online. He paused. Admiral, are you sure about this? If we activate the Titan Array, I know what it means, Rodriguez said quietly. But we need to end this war completely. No more half measures. The Council needs to understand, once and for all, that humanity is not to be threatened. She walked to the observation window, looking up at the stars. For 50 years we held back. We developed weapons we hoped we would never use. Technologies that scared even us. We buried them, locked them away because we believed in peace. But if we don't show our full strength now, this war will continue. More people will die. The galaxy needs to see what humanity is truly capable of, so they'll never dare threaten us again. 4 hours later, the Council fleet arrived at Earth's solar system. Vexler looked at the blue and green planet on his view screen with satisfaction. There it is, the human homeworld. Scan for their fleet. His sensor officer worked frantically. Council leader, I'm detecting only minimal defenses. A few dozen ships in orbit. Nothing like the fleets they've deployed elsewhere. Vexter smiled, showing all his teeth. They've overextended, left their homeworld vulnerable. Foolish. All ships, attack formation. Prepare the planet-killer weapons. The Council fleet moved forward, confidence returning. Perhaps the humans were not so clever after all. That's when everything stopped. Every Council ship suddenly lurched as their faster-than-light drives shut down. Emergency alarms blared across 3,000 vessels simultaneously. What happened? Vexter demanded. Our FTL drive is offline? His engineer reported. Not damaged. It's being disrupted. Something is interfering with the quantum field that allows faster-than-light travel. Fix it. I can't, Council Leader. The disruption is coming from ... everywhere. It's like a net spread across this entire region of space. Vexter felt cold fear creep into his heart. Can we still fight? Yes, but we cannot retreat using FTL. We would have to fly at normal speeds. It would take years to reach the nearest Council world. Admiral Rodriguez's face appeared on every Council view screen. Council Leader Vexter, she said. Welcome to Earth. I see you brought friends. What have you done to our ships? Vexter snarled. That's humanity's quantum disruption network, Rodriguez explained calmly. We have satellites positioned throughout the system that generate a field disrupting faster than light travel. Your fleet is trapped here. You can fight. You can die. But you cannot run. She smiled coldly. You came here to destroy Earth. Instead, you've walked into a trap. Human ships began appearing. Not dozens, hundreds. They emerged from behind the moon, from asteroid fields, from positions all around the solar system. The Council fleet was surrounded. You still outnumber us 3-1, Vexter said, trying to sound confident. Numbers are not everything, Rodriguez replied. Let me demonstrate. The human fleet opened fire. But this time, they used different tactics. Instead of engaging the whole Council fleet at once, they targeted specific species ships. Attention Valkyrie vessels, Rodriguez broadcast. Your leadership did not want this war. They were forced into it by Council politics. Humanity offers you a choice. Surrender now, and you will be treated fairly. Your ships will not be destroyed. Your crews will be returned home. You have 60 seconds to decide. In the Council fleet, chaos erupted. The Valkyrie ships began breaking formation. Do not listen to her. Vexter screamed. Anyone who surrenders will be branded traitors. But fear was stronger than pride. 40 Valkyrie ships powered down their weapons and moved away from the fleet. Human vessels escorted them to safe positions. Rodriguez continued. Attention, Zephyrini fleet. You pride yourselves on logic and reason. Logically, this war cannot be won. Reasonably, continuing to fight only causes more death. Surrender now. Humanity bears you no hatred. No more ships broke away. 50 Zephyrini vessels accepted the terms. Vexter watched his fleet crumble. All remaining ships. Focus fire on the human flagship. If we kill Rodriguez, they'll lose coordination. The loyal Council ships turned their weapons on Rodriguez's vessel, the EDS Valiant. Thousands of energy beams and missiles converged on one target. The Valiant's shields held. Every shot absorbed, every missile intercepted. My turn, Rodriguez said. She did not order her fleet to fire. Instead, she sent a signal to Luna Base, on Earth's moon. A weapon that had been 30 years in development activated. Ambassador Liana, watching from her private ship nearby, sent an urgent message to Rodriguez. Admiral, please. I convinced my government to surrender. I have been working to end this war peacefully. Don't destroy the fleet. I won't, Rodriguez replied. But I need to make a point that will never be forgotten. She opened a galaxy-wide broadcast. Everyone would see what happened next. People of the galaxy, Rodriguez said. For 50 years, humanity has been part of your Galactic Council. For 50 years, you treated us as lesser beings. When we complained, you laughed. When we asked for fairness, you ignored us. When we warned you, you threatened us. The Valiant turned to face a nearby uninhabited moon. Humanity could have destroyed worlds. We could have been conquerors. We could have used our technology to dominate. Rodriguez's voice hardened. We chose not to. We chose peace. We chose restraint. We developed terrible weapons and locked them away, hoping we would never need them. She paused. You forced us to reveal them. Now witness what humanity is capable of when we stop holding back. The Titan array activated. From strategic points across Earth's solar system, satellites fired beams of exotic energy at the sun itself. The beams precisely manipulated the star's magnetic field. Focusing its power, a massive solar flare erupted, guided by human technology. It struck the uninhabited moon, and the entire celestial body vaporized in seconds. Where a moon had existed, only expanding gas remained. The Council fleet watched in horrified silence. Oh, that moon was the same size as your homeworld, Vexter, Rodriguez said quietly. We could have aimed that at any planet in Council space. We could have destroyed your worlds without ever sending a single ship. We had this weapon for 20 years. We never used it because we believed in the possibility of peace. She looked directly at the camera. You forced this war. You gave us no choice. Now you see what we're capable of. Now you understand what humanity means when we say we were holding back. Rodriguez's eyes were cold as space. This war ends now. Not because you won, but because we're offering you one last chance to surrender. Earth warned the galaxy we were holding back. Diplomacy failed. Now comes the reckoning. Part 5. The reckoning's silence filled the void of space. 3,000 warships floated motionless, their crews staring at the place where a moon had existed moments before. Council leader Vexter stood on his bridge, his supreme confidence shattered like glass. Council leader, his communications officer said quietly, we're receiving surrender requests from most of the fleet. Vexter looked at his tactical display. Ship after ship was powering down weapons. The Valkyrie, the Zephyrini, the Torgoth. Even his own species, the mighty Kryn, were abandoning the fight. Cowards, Vexter whispered. All of them. Admiral Rodriguez's voice came through again. Council leader Vexter, your fleet is broken. Your allies have surrendered. You are alone. I am offering you one chance to end this with dignity. Stand down. Vexter's claws dug into his command chair. Everything he had built, his authority over the council, his reputation as a powerful leader, all of it crumbled around him. And it was crumbling because of humans. Humans who should have been servants, not conquerors. Never, Vexter growled. I would rather die than surrender to an inferior species. We are not inferior, Rodriguez said, and her voice carried a weight that made even Vexter pause. We never were. You just convinced yourself we were because it made you feel powerful. That was your mistake. Rodriguez opened a direct channel, just between her ship and Vexter's flagship. You want to know the truth, Vexter? Humanity could have destroyed the Council any time in the last 30 years. We had the weapons. We had the technology. We had the ships. But we did not want to be destroyers. We wanted to be partners. We wanted to build something better together. She leaned forward, and Vexter could see the absolute certainty in her eyes. You forced us to become something we never wanted to be. You turned peacemakers into warriors. And now you're learning what humanity looks like when we stop holding back. We are not weak. We are not inferior. We chose restraint. There is a difference. Vexter felt something break inside him. Not his body. His spirit. He had been so certain of his superiority, so confident that might made right, and now he faced the truth. Humanity had been stronger all along. They had just been kind enough not to prove it. What do you want? Vexter asked, his voice barely a whisper. Right now. I want you to look at that empty space where a moon used to be, Rodriguez said. I want you to understand that we could have done that to your homeworld. To any world in the galaxy. We had that power. We never used it. She paused. We showed restraint, mercy, patience. For 50 years. And you called that weakness. You learned the hard way that humanity's greatest strength was always our choice not to use our full power. Until you left us no choice? Vexter looked at his tactical officer. How many ships do we have left that are willing to fight? 17, Council Leader. Your personal guard. 17 ships against hundreds of human vessels. Against weapons that could manipulate stars. Against a species that had hidden their true capabilities for half a century. It was over. Vexter struggled with the words. I surrender. Unconditionally. The admission broke him completely. He slumped in his command chair, all his arrogance gone. Rodriguez nodded. Power down your weapons. All of them. Your fleet will be escorted to a neutral location. No one else needs to die today, as the last council ship surrendered. Ambassador Lirana sent a message to Rodriguez. Admiral, on behalf of the Velkari people and the other species who see reason, I apologize. We allowed pride and tradition to blind us to the truth. You tried to warn us. We did not listen. Rodriguez's expression softened slightly. Ambassador, I remember you. You spoke against the war from the beginning. You tried to make them see reason. I failed, Lirana said sadly. No, Rodriguez replied. You tried. That matters. When we rebuild the council, we will need voices like yours. Voices that choose wisdom over pride. Rebuild the council. Lirana looked surprised. The old council is finished, Rodriguez said firmly. But the galaxy needs some form of cooperation. Some way for species to work together. We will build something new. Something better. But this time, it will be built on true equality. No more superior and inferior species. No more strong and weak. Just partners, working together. Over the next days, the surrender terms were finalized. Not by the old council, but by humanity. And to the surprise of many, the terms were not about revenge or domination. Instead, Admiral Rodriguez presented a proposal for a new galactic government. One with equal representation for all species. One where disputes were settled by negotiation, not force. One where trade was fair and treaties were honored. We could have conquered you, Rodriguez, told the assembled representatives. We could have taken control of the entire galaxy. We have the power. But that was never what we wanted. She stood before the gathered aliens, her uniform crisp, her bearing proud but not arrogant. We wanted respect. We wanted fairness. We wanted to be heard. That's all we ever wanted. And we will ensure that every species in this new government gets the same thing. The proposal passed with overwhelming support. The old council was dissolved. In its place, the Galactic Assembly was formed, with a charter that guaranteed equal rights for all member species. But there was one more piece of business to address. Ambassador Chen, who had delivered humanity's first warnings so many weeks ago, stood before the new assembly. Council Leader Vexter, stripped of his authority, but present as a witness, listened as Chen spoke. This war did not need to happen, Chen said. We gave you warnings. We gave you evidence. We gave you every opportunity to choose peace. You chose violence instead. He looked at Vexter directly. But humanity chooses to move forward, not backward. We will not seek revenge for the decades of insults and injustices. We will not demand reparations for the attacks on our colonies. We will not punish those who fought against us. Vexter's eyes widened in disbelief. Instead, Chen continued. We offer you the same thing we wanted from the beginning. Partnership, equality, respect. If you can give us that, if you can treat us and all species with dignity, then we can build something better than what we had before. He smiled, and it was genuine. This is humanity's true strength. Not our weapons, not our technology, not our fleets. Our strength is our ability to forgive, to build bridges even after they've been burned, to choose hope over hatred. The assembly chamber erupted in applause. Even Vexter, humbled and defeated, felt something stir in his heart. Perhaps it was shame. Perhaps it was hope. Perhaps it was understanding. 3 months later, the new Galactic Assembly held its first official session. Representatives from every species sat in a circular, chamber no longer in elevated seats looking down on others, but all on the same level. Ambassador Chen, now Earth's senior representative, addressed the assembly. We have learned hard lessons in these past months. We learned that pride comes before destruction, that arrogance leads to ruin, that underestimating others can be fatal. He looked around at all the different species, but we also learned that even after terrible conflict, peace is possible, that even after war we can choose cooperation, that even after mistakes we can do better. His voice grew stronger. The old council saw humanity as weak because we chose diplomacy. They saw our restraint as cowardice. They learned too late that we were simply choosing to be better than our worst capabilities. Chen paused, letting his words sink in. Let this assembly be different. Let us build a galaxy where strength is measured not by the size of fleets, but by the wisdom of decisions. Where power comes not from domination, but from cooperation. Where being advanced does not mean being superior. The assembly voted unanimously to adopt these principles as their founding charter. Years later, on a colony world that had been damaged during the war, human children played with alien children. They ran through rebuilt streets, laughing in different languages, creating friendships that would have been impossible under the old council. An elderly Kryn watched them play. He was a former admiral who had fought against humanity. Now he taught military history at a university, using his experiences to ensure future generations understood the cost of arrogance. A human student approached him. Professor, why did your people think you could win? The humans had superior technology. The old Kryn smiled sadly. We did not know that. They hid their strength. But that is not why we lost. Then why? We lost because we never understood humanity's greatest weapon, the professor said. It was not their ships or their guns or their ability to manipulate stars. It was their choice to use those weapons only when absolutely necessary. They could have destroyed us. They chose to defeat us instead. There is a difference. He looked at the playing children. They chose to leave us alive so we could learn, so we could grow, so we could become better. That is true strength. Not the power to destroy, but the wisdom to show mercy. And that is why humanity leads the assembly now. Not because they conquered us, but because they showed us a better way. The student nodded thoughtfully. Back on Earth, Admiral Rodriguez stood in the same mountain command center where the war had been coordinated. The room was quiet now, most systems powered down. Only a few officers remained. General Webb approached her. Thinking about the war, thinking about what we almost lost, Rodriguez replied. If Exter had been wiser, if the council had listened, we could have avoided all of it. But they didn't listen. No, Rodriguez agreed. They saw kindness as weakness. They saw restraint as inability. They forgot that the most dangerous opponent is not the one who cannot show mercy, but the one who chooses to show mercy until mercy is no longer possible.
Oh, gee.
She turned from the display screens. We warned them. Ambassador Chen warned them. They laughed. They thought we were bluffing. She smiled slightly. They learned we never bluff. We just prefer not to fight. And now? Webb asked. Oh, we build, Rodriguez said. We build a galaxy where no one needs to learn that lesson again. Where strength serves peace instead of undermining it. Where being powerful means protecting the weak, not exploiting them. She looked up at the ceiling, as if she could see through it to the stars beyond. Humanity was holding back for 50 years. Now the galaxy knows what we're capable of. The reckoning is complete. What comes next is up to all of us. And this time, we'll build it together. As equals, the war had ended. The galaxy had changed. And humanity had proven that their greatest strength was never their weapons or their technology or their hidden fleets. It was their choice. To hold back until holding back was no longer possible, it was their ability to show mercy even in victory. It was their dream of building bridges instead of burning them. The reckoning was over. The rebuilding had begun, and the galaxy would never make the mistake of underestimating humanity again. The end.